It is 12:55. Today is March 27th, 26th. What is it, 27th?
27.
27. Board of Assessment Appeals. Okay. This is appeal number 841, 208 Mona Terrace. And the owner is, please state your name.
Hannah Soderlund.
The town value is $931,100, and they're requesting an amount of $660,000. What's right on here? March 27th. Okay. Hannah is here, and so is her son and daughter-in-law. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swear you all in, because this way everybody can speak. Okay?
Sounds good.
Everybody raise their right hand. You all solemnly swear that the information you shall give regarding this appeal and appeal number 842 be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I
Yes.
do.
Okay, everybody agreed. All right, so let me put your names down here. Okay. 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 All right, okay. Now I'll have you sign this. Okay. It doesn't matter who signs first. Just sign at the X. This is just saying that you've been sworn in. Oh, I haven't sworn. I did swear you in. Yep, okay. Just got to put your name there.
Sure. Can I borrow your?
Please.
I have it.
There you go.
There we
Okay.
go. You sign on top here.
Too much? Yeah. No, it's not. It's just taking away. I need it, but I do.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I need it, but I don't. I'd like to not need it.
Exactly. Those are to go.
You're working on that, right? No,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have a replacement.
Oh, I'm having a knee replacement. I haven't had it yet, but that's why I'm using the cane, because I can't, my knee will give out. So I have to, when I'm in the house, I don't use it, but outside I have to.
Yeah.
So, but when hopefully I'll have the knee replacement and I won't need that cane anymore. How's your hip?
It's good. I have both knees and both
Oh.
shoulders replaced.
Oh, my.
20 years ago.
She's a bionic woman.
Wow.
I didn't know if you,
What was
if
the-
you knew who you were meeting.
What was how bad were the knees? Bad or no?
They were very much arthritis and bone on bone.
And then when they did them, was it hard recovery?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Well, you had that
But
done.
I have done both of them within 2 days.
Oh, my goodness, no, I don't think I'll be
They don't
doing
do
that.
that anymore.
No, they don't do that anymore. Okay, so, a 208 Mona Terrace, single-family home, built in 1962. Okay, now you're saying comp sales indicate a market value of $660,000 as is. So, all right. So what would you like to tell me? I'm sure you want to tell me something.
Not, but I've been living there for 20 years. It's a nice little house, but it's small. I don't expect it to be $900,000. I haven't made any really replacement there. I had the same bathrooms I had when I moved in. Just done a little bit to the kitchen, but other than that, I
20
haven't
years
done.
ago.
And what?
When you moved.
20 years ago.
20 years ago.
It's a nice kitchen though, IKEA.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It is good. And then I had the problem with the flood. I had some pump.
Oh, in the basement.
Yeah.
You get water in the basement.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well,
I don't.
with the flood you were with Sandy.
That was
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Completely,
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole
yeah.
basement flood.
Now, it looks like a couple of things. It looks like your improvements, which is, most people don't understand what that is. It's really the house. The building, he calls it improvements. So he's saying that the house went from a value of $94,000 and some change to $135,000. But you didn't make any improvements. So what he's just saying is that, you know, because everything went up in value, that went up. But actually, the house, like a car, is a depreciating asset if you don't update it. So it isn't going to go up in value if you leave it alone. It can't. So a lot of people have had the same problem, but that's a big jump. And it's almost double
Yeah.
with nothing being done.
You know, all the electrical in the house is never being updated. That's
Yeah.
from when
like
they
it.
purchased it. So I don't even know when, actually.
So they've replaced the panel after,
Yeah, they've
after
had-
Oh,
they have
Sandy,
to do that,
Sandy.
yeah.
Yeah,
but,
that's true.
but none of the
Yeah.
wiring otherwise.
Yeah.
I think the overarching argument that we have, Paula, is that, as you know, in that whole flood zone area, AE, after Superstorm Sandy.
Mhm.
When you look at sales of houses of that size, on that lot size, of that vintage, et cetera, in that flood zone, there's just numerous of them at least, of sales. It's a developer who comes in, he pays around $650 for it, he tears it down, sorry Mom,
Yes.
and he built something built up,
Mhm.
4,000 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 4.5 baths, and they sell them for $2.2 million.
Yeah.
And we have one across the street, and we have them all over the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And as much as you'd love to think that somebody's going to buy this house and restore it, the reality is that they would have to pay so much in flood insurance. And that the highest and best value, as we see with all these developers, is to buy it for around $650, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more, tear down and rebuild. So I think that's really what the market value is.
Well, you have some comps here, and what we're saying is here's Pratt Street. So that's a fair comp. It's right down the street. Same kind of thing, right off of Oldfield. And it looks like their land value is $553,000. So that's way less than yours at some ridiculous figure I just looked at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we mapped some of it
Yeah.
for you as well, because we really looked at saying what's inside that AE, and also what's in that,
Well, everything that we
District.
have there was all in her zone,
69.
except for one
Yep.
on maybe, I think, Welsh, I think.
Yeah, you had one on Welsh and one on
But
Long
it's
Dean.
so, I mean, it's so close.
Here's
right?
Alden
There's a
Street.
five
But they're all
minute
sitting
walk.
in the same,
Yeah,
Oh, and that's
flood
also
zone.
in her zone.
yeah
too,
Alden
but
Street is.
Literally everything
There's
in
another
one of these
Alden.
properties has been purchased by a developer
Yeah.
for exactly
Yep.
this thing. And then one of them is actually on the market for sale now with a pretty picture of, the White House with the black windows.
I saw that.
Yeah. So I think that's
Yeah.
really the
that's sort of
reality of,
overarching
So
reality.
all of these land values are in the 500s,
Yeah.
and yours is 600 and something, I think. Let me look here, yeah.
I guess between the land value and the
Yours is
improvement,
651. And to be honest with you, and please don't be offended when I say this, if I were to look at those streets, Pratt, Alden, James, East Lawn, that whole strip, and Mona Terrace to me would be the least desirable, only because the school, well, it's not the school anymore, it's the senior center is there. So you have people coming in and out with traffic all the time. The others don't have that. So there's more traffic there, so maybe a little bit less desirable than the others. So I don't think it really deserves an increase in land value, either the same, if somebody wants to say, well, that's not a big deal, or a decrease in land value. So we have two issues on yours, because the land value will not get us to 931,000. How could it possibly be?
I don't remember what the percentage
651.
increase was, but I mean, it was such a big increase, such a big jump.
Oh, here it is. I'm looking at the wrong thing. That's why. Okay, here we go.
It was 80%.
Here it is. Yeah, the land went up from 557,000 to 700, almost 800,000.
This doesn't even make any sense for any property. No.
Well, unfortunately, there are properties out there that people are paying a lot more than that, depending on the street.
Yeah.
So it looks like, I looked at the wrong place. It looks like all of these are valued in the 7s for land. This one's in the 8s, the one on Mellow Street. Also not that far from you. And how big is your property?
I think it's just under a quarter of an acre, right? I can't remember off the top of my head. but-
1.7?
I think it is.
Well, that's
Around
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah.
Well, it looks like first of all, and I'm looking at the land in the right place now, but it looks like yours is the highest one of all the comps. So that shouldn't be. There might be one that was in the 8s, but all the others are in the 7s. So, that's a different street. Okay. So your land value is higher than everybody else's. And your home value went up too high, considering that you haven't done anything. So let's talk a little bit more about the house itself. So the electric is old, everything's old.
Yeah,
Yeah, the kitchen was the last thing you guys really did, and that was
Yeah.
20 years ago.
But because I had it out, and it was 220.
Yeah,
So
you are
I'm sure that the
yeah.
panel and everything is okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And, yeah, I mean, what happened when Superstorm Sandy happened, the electrical panel was replaced downstairs.
Yeah.
And the furnace.
And the furnace had to be replaced.
Yeah.
Because so many of
5
those
feet of
houses,
water.
right? It
Yeah,
was
it got eaten
filled
by
like a
the salt
bathtub.
water.
Yeah.
But, and then you had to gut your lower level, you had to replace all the floor and all that stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Because it came up
the
through
low living room.
yeah, like everything just
That's
was
underground.
totally terrible.
There's no
Everything was just floating.
basement under there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that, you had to have that all ripped out, so you had new wood, I think, put in there, didn't you?
Yeah, new wood, everything.
Yeah, insulation and stuff like
Painting
that,
the walls.
but only on that lower part, but otherwise, there's nothing really.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like the sale prices are in the 6s and 7s.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
ones that sold. So it's obviously that this is not, the 900 and something is not the right price for.
That's what we're.
No.
Okay. So I would say, the other thing is I'll look too, like, it's easier for me to see it on the actual field card as far as the size of the lot. But here's the thing, the lot is a lot. Like, unless you had an unusually large lot, then a building lot is basically a building lot in that neighborhood. You know, if it's a certain size, then, you know, within a certain range, then it should be fine. So, I can't promise anything, but I certainly can see what your point is about the fact that it's way over considering the comps in the neighborhood.
Appreciate that.
So, I don't think there'll be a problem with that. So now the next step is, I take this information, I will actually, do you have anything else to add to this? Anybody else have anything else to say?
No, you're saying building lot is a building lot. Yeah, there is no
Right, there's no,
extra space around, no.
okay,
You had some of your, you had some information on your, flood insurance.
Yeah,
Did
but
you wanna
that's
talk about
another
that?
thing.
That won't matter.
Yeah,
It's
because I think
gonna-
that's reflected in all the comps.
Yeah,
right?
they're all-
That
yeah.
is- that is
they're
the
all in that
reality.
same zone.
I pay more in flood insurance than I pay in taxes now.
Yeah.
Well, not, we're all. Okay, this is appeal number 842. It's 110. 1211 Stilson Road, Anne Marie and Steen?
Yes.
Yes.
Petrie? Town value, $1,342,400. Let me choke while I say that. And the ask amount is $920,000. Today is March 27th, as we'd spoken before. Okay. I've already sworn you in.
Yep.
Just remember, you're still under oath, and I'll just have you both sign this. Both are here. Okay, there you go. It doesn't matter if you sign.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you have the top spot.
Leave her the
He's
top.
very, very sweet like that.
Okay, so, let's see what we have here. See attached note on next page, okay? It's the next page. All right, now, let's see here. Okay, so, why don't you tell me about your appeal? Because that's probably what this is, right?
Yes.
Okay. You have a 1930s log cabin,
Yes, we do.
so it's hard to find comps in the neighborhood. It's probably hard to find comps anywhere in town.
It's actually hard to find comps
Anywhere in
anywhere,
the county
within
or-
the county of, you know, within the
Yeah.
state of Connecticut, it's actually very hard.
There's not a lot of log cabins. Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm sure it's not the most popular one for sales, so it
Correct.
probably stays on market longer. Smaller buyer pool,
Mhm.
resulting in a lower sale price. Additionally, while the log portion has been partially restored, you have uninsulated walls, old windows, which jacks up the cost of maintaining it.
Heating it too.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
property also sits on one of its 4 homes sharing access road, which is Peytonwood.
Yes.
It's not a maintained road by the town, so you're responsible for the maintenance of that road, the
Correct.
plowing, the maintenance, the repairs, the resurfacing, all that.
Yeah,
correct.
any trees, we've had a bunch
Stuff,
of trees
snow
cut
removal,
down.
trees, yep.
Yeah.
I wonder, and I'd have to look at your field card. I looked at it yesterday.
Yep.
I did look at your field card. I looked at it yesterday, and it said, by the way, you probably don't even know this, but you get a 20% discount on your land. I can't show it to you because I don't have the field card, but I can actually send it to you so you can see it. But at the bottom of the first page, if you look at the field card, It shows you what's called landline valuation. But you'll see like the numbers, you'll see numbers and size. And then over to the right, it says size. And it says 80 instead of 1. It's 0.80 instead of 1.0. 1.0 is equivalent to 100%. 0.80 is equivalent to 80%. Yours is valued at 80%, and it says size. Now, it's a big lot for the area. I don't know why he has that. So he's giving you a discount on the size, but no discount because you're paying taxes, which maintain the roads, but your road isn't maintained.
No, which is really unfortunate, and we have talked to the town about that.
What'd they say?
They said, no.
They don't want
No, we're not doing it.
They don't want our road.
Part of it is because it's really just a driveway.
Yes, it's narrow.
It's narrow, and in order to make it compliant with town, it would have to be extended by such a big way, by such a lot on both sides, and then you would need to be able to get a fire truck in there.
Right, and have to
right
make the
now,
turn.
we have a security alarm on our house, which has gone off a couple of times, and the fire truck won't even drive up
All the way,
Road.
yeah.
You can't.
They park on Stilson Road at the very end, and then they walk up with all their gear
Oh, my.
and walk up the hill, and then they're like, the alarm's going off. Like, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Thankfully it's only been an accident when we've had it go up, but they actually won't drive up. So
I can
don't
see
know
why. I don't
whatever-
think they wouldn't be able to get out if
Well,
they do.
because there's
That might be
no
it, yeah.
turn
There's no turn,
circle that's
yeah.
big enough for them.
I have
even
trouble
at the
turning.
bottom. Yeah,
And I have a small car,
yeah,
so.
yeah, it is
Yeah.
tricky.
I'm surprised that they let them build like that because even though they're saying it's a driveway, it's not. Because there's driveways off of it, basically. Like you have to access.
Yeah.
And normally they won't let them put a road in if you can't turn a truck. They have all those regulations, so I don't know why they let them do that.
I think it's
Yeah,
because
early 90s, right?
it was, the early 90s, it was subdivided. So the history is that the log cabin was originally 7.5 acres of land back in the 1934. And then it was gradually subdivided off to the area, and then it was just that one lot, and then there was some family turmoil, and then, somebody said, no, I want my pieces to share, and so they divided. So then they did the subdivision in the 90s.
And the last division was when we
put in
when
that
we bought the
Peyton
house,
Road.
they split the little cottage next to us from our house.
Yeah.
And
Is that where John lived?
Yeah.
Exactly.
He was a nice guy. I met him a long time ago. I had talked to him about selling the property back
Yeah.
there. It was many, many years. His sister was ill, and
Yeah.
and his parents were there, and it was like, I don't think this is going to work out. Like, it's not, where are they going to go?
Yeah.
So I just left him alone after that. But yeah, what happened to him? I know, it was sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had terminal brain cancer.
Oh, that's too bad.
And his sister's still alive.
She is? Where's she?
Carlton.
She's at the Carlton.
Oh, wow.
And she's kicking. She is great.
Oh, my
She's
gosh.
tough. She survived COVID twice.
Wow, good for her.
But, we didn't know John at all.
Until we bought the house.
Until we
yeah.
bought
Yeah.
the house, and we kind of bought him with the house.
Yeah.
We adopted him next door. But, yeah.
He adopted me, too.
He was a nice man. I'm sorry to hear that. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so she said access road, yep, which is not.
But yeah, with the almost 2 acres we have, the reason why I think it is still there is when we bought it, lots of developers looked at it. They would tear it down and they would build 3 or 4 houses, but they realized that the town won't allow further subdivision of that land. So that's why it's still a relatively large piece, awkwardly shaped, but relatively large piece of land. Right?
Yeah, you
Have
won't.
10 people around us.
Yeah, I was looking at the map online yesterday for yours, and it looks like, it's probably not exactly accurate, but the way, you're sitting on that curve, right?
Yeah.
And if you look at the outline that the town has for your property,
Yeah.
you really only have about, 30 feet, maybe 60 of frontage on the road,
Yeah.
which is why you can't subdivide. You don't have frontage
Exactly.
to build in there,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. And you can't, we've been told from the town, you can't subdivide, and that's what John was looking at also before he sold the property to us. You can't subdivide off it's already, because it's this private, laneway, right, with the full property, you're not allowed to subdivide again off of that.
Mhm.
4 is the maximum as far as it is now. It's
And then-
the maximum that you could put on that.
They'd have to go from Shady Hill to,
Right.
because
And that's
if
what-
I remember at the back, like if I, where that you can see Shady Hill.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you can see the lots there,
Yep.
but
Yep.
they were sloping.
Yep.
So, because I looked at it with a builder a long time ago.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's not enough frontage there either, I think, right?
No.
No.
We checked with the town about that
Yeah.
also, and they said no. Because that could be another way you could split it there.
Right, but you can't.
But you can't. The town doesn't. They said no.
So, I see that they put up that hideous house across the street from you.
Oh, it's so,
It's so ugly. I mean, it's ugly on the inside as well as the outside.
Yes.
And I don't think they did the best job they
No.
could, but
Unfortunately.
no, we agree.
that's
Could have
too
been
been
something very charming,
Yeah,
and,
but no,
unfortunately it's not.
No. no. And it wasn't so easy to sell either.
No.
I noticed that.
Okay, so now you have some comps here, although I recognize that it was hard to find them.
Yeah, they're difficult to come by, and as you'll see, they're not log cabins. What we went for were,
Yeah.
you know,
I don't know why they're not log cabins, that's weird.
so they're more houses that are older vintage, sometimes with
Right.
little additions,
Yeah.
similar room count and bedrooms, et cetera. We were trying to get as close as we could, but it's not an easy task. We recognize that.
And we tried to kind of divide it a little bit between older properties that had an older portion to it, although there's one that is a newer house from Pansy Road, was from 2011, which was newer because obviously we did an addition to it. But it's really hard to find, the size, and then also when you put into the land, because I think the land does have, a factor in it, but you've got to circle out a little bit wider in the circle to be able to find the comps that kind of
That fits in
match
that
that.
kind of acreage.
And
yeah.
then that not everybody wants an older home.
Well,
Right.
the other thing is he's got your land. Now, remember, I told you, you got a 20% discount.
Yeah.
Even with the discount, he has your land valued at over $1 million.
Wow, that would be amazing.
Wouldn't it be? Because
Wouldn't
yeah.
it be? That'd be
I looked at,
amazing.
in fact, I was talking to a board member yesterday, and I was saying, I looked at this house, said I went online and I did the math, and if he had it at 100%, it would be $1,325,000 for the land.
Wow.
She started laughing. She's
Yeah.
laughing. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So this land cannot be that much.
No, definitely not. I think pretty much, actually it's interesting because if I think of John's house next door at 1207, that sold for
The new one?
Yeah.
$1,500,000 and change.
The one, right, but before that, when it sold, obviously it's not in the comp period, but I think it
Oh,
pretty much
his.
sold for land value. And
Oh,
that was, at
yeah.
that point, that was like around 5-something,
When
530 or
Dakota
540 when that sold.
When was that? Do you remember?
Well, it's a couple of
2
years.
years ago,
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
yeah.
And you know what?
But
When
that,
John's
so
estate
that,
sold it, yeah.
and then they actually kept the house and then added on to it. But I
Yeah.
think that was that's a,
Yeah, that's
better
also land
comp
value.
than
Yep.
it-
Yeah, that would be the
you
best comp.
but pretty much half of the,
Yeah.
half of that value. So, yeah, it's hard because, they're all a little different like ours.
Yeah,
So
and they're
we
not gonna
tried to
be-
find things that were,
Yep.
somewhere in there. So we have 866, sales price, 775 sale, 885.
And then, like, there's, for example, the one on Hillbrook Lane is in Greenfield Hill. Their value, when he does the land values, he multiplies by a factor number to get the price. Their factor number is higher than yours. Now, you have more units, so, but still, if that land in Greenfield Hill is only worth $1,014,000 at full value, how can yours be worth almost the same or higher at partial value?
Right.
It can't.
Well, and that's
It's
why
just
I
not enough.
included that one because it had the larger acreage.
Yeah.
And it's an older home also. And so, and it's very similar. It's 2,700 square foot living, and we're 25, right? So,
Is your land level?
no.
Describe it.
Nowhere.
Is it-
Well, steep steep driveway.
I saw it going up,
And
yeah.
then we're sitting sort of up on the little knob, and then it drops down on 3 sides.
It's on a hill.
Yeah. I mean, it was built up even when, in 1930, I think they built the foundation and then they piled up more around it. So it sits up on a little knob. So it's good for runoff, right?
Yeah,
But
I mean,
other than
that's
that, there's no real flat.
It's
We have
good for
one
sitting.
little flat area down at the very base that we used to play, croquet and badminton and stuff on. But otherwise, there's not really.
Okay.
flat.
Yeah, we had to make that level.
Yeah.
That's the only level spot is because we brought dirt in and we made
Yeah.
a court so we could play game out there. But otherwise, nothing else on it is
Yeah. And then a lot of it is wooded, obviously.
yeah.
And actually, we have a lot more animals. We always had animals in our yard, but we have a lot more animals now in our yard since
After they
there's been a lot of
after they
development
developed
down
that
the street. So
Yeah.
Down on the
Yeah.
corner of Mill Plain.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, every time
yeah,
we do that,
that's right, yep,
all the foxes and the owls.
the
Yeah.
deer and the, yeah.
So.
okay.
And with the percentage you were talking about with the land, I wonder when we bought the property, we had 2 tax bills. We had a tax bill for our property, and we also had a tax bill that was split between the 4 people that share that land.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
For Peytonwood.
Yeah.
We had a separate tax bill for that.
you
And
still
then-
have that?
No, then at some point they kind of they enveloped it into all of our property.
Which is allocated.
So I wonder if
Money.
any part of that 20% is anything to do with
I don't know, I'd
that.
have to ask them.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure, but it just dawned on me that change happened, and I don't really know how that.
And I'm guessing now, how do you divide the payment for things like plowing and things
It's
like
very
that?
difficult. It's
We-
really
but-
difficult because we don't all agree on if a tree should be taken down or not, because if it costs $5,000 to take a tree down, not everybody has $5,000 to just go ahead and do that. So it's actually kind of difficult.
And which
we-
has kept
we
us
would-
from paving too. Right?
Yeah.
We really do need to
Yeah, it looks like it needs to be
redo
paved.
the driveway. It's not just another tar coating on
Yeah.
it. It really needs to be ground down and redone.
Yeah.
And we can't get everybody to agree on
Now,
that.
do you guys do it by you live in the back?
Yeah.
So you have to pay the most because,
No, we
it's just, you
split
just
it
split it up?
evenly.
They've
Okay,
kind of split it up historically. But as far as plowing is concerned, we share in the plowing.
Yeah.
And landscaping, we sometimes have somebody do it, but in the last couple of years, we've just done it ourselves. Again, because it's hard for people to
Yeah.
agree on how much they want to do.
yeah,
And there's no contract written in. There's no contract with it, like
Homeowner
we're all
association or
deeded,
anything like that.
whatever we have,
Mhm.
right? And it's understood, that it's a shared situation, but there's nothing
Yeah.
it's very difficult.
Yeah.
And which may be part of why it took longer to sell the house.
yeah, I'm sure it
next door,
did, because yeah,
Because it's very ambiguous, okay, well, and by the way, you're gonna share this thing, right?
And there's definitely some overdue maintenance on the road and the columns, beautiful old stone columns at the
Yeah.
entrance you probably saw.
Yep.
But they're starting
Yeah,
to get to the
falling
point
down.
where
Yep.
Yeah.
they'll fall over at some point. But,
We
but
did
yeah,
have
so we
the
split it
owl.
up as best we can agree on.
Yeah, we did have, so we did have a picture of our driveway. Actually, that's in better shape. That was from 6 months ago. That's in better shape than it is now, because there's a massive hole there.
okay.
But it's just, what do they call it, alligator scaling.
Oh, I see what you're saying,
Right.
yeah, yeah,
And as you go up further, it's just mushy.
Yeah.
We had our portion of the driveway, redone because it was just so bad and it needed to be re-leveled. And at that point in time, we did approach the neighbors and ask them, we're going to have our portion of our drive done. And while they're here,
They're mobilized, yeah.
would
would you want to do it?
maybe
Yeah.
now's the time to redo the driveway portion that's
Mhm.
all shared? And they all said no. So we
Not
refilled,
now, maybe later.
and one was, maybe we'll move, so we don't want to do that expense, which again is part of that, okay, at some point it's actually going to,
Something's gonna have to get done.
it's something's going to
But
get
you get the
done.
worst of it, because the first house in, you only have to drive on a little bit of it,
No,
you
I
have to
know.
drive on the whole thing.
Yeah. So at that point, so this was 5 years ago when we had this done, we had the guys, the Burn Construction Group, which does
Yeah.
a lot of work here in town too. They quoted us with a discounted price at that point to do that portion, the shared portion of
While
the
they were doing
driveway.
ours.
Yep.
While they were
While they
doing
were
that,
doing
they
yours.
said, well, if we're here anyway, so, and we've got all our equipment and all our guys, and so we're doing yours. So if you wanted, I'll give you a quote. It's a discounted rate, and we could do it all in the one go and have it done in a couple of days. So at that point, it was $20-something $1,000, and all of the neighbors said no. So, and then at that point, actually, the neighbor who passed away, John, he was sick. I mean, he had no money at all. Like,
Yeah.
he couldn't
Yeah.
afford anything, right? I mean,
So
we helped
that
him with
would've been
meals,
difficult.
so it was like, that was just not even a, so you just need one person that just doesn't need
Yeah.
it, So it's difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult. So, yeah.
Well, I think what we'll do is, I mean, I'll certainly present what you gave me, but I think that the argument's gonna be, of course, that the land cannot be the value that they gave it. And that's, everybody's pretty much in the same boat, because all around town, everybody's property was a big factor in rolling up. So,
Yeah.
we'll certainly try to get it down
Yeah.
as much as we
Appreciate
can. So, yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and as we realize, right, it is because of the peculiar nature of our house, which we recognize, right? It's an old log cabin. It has a modern addition to it, but it's predominantly an older house. We anticipate it will sit on the market longer.
Yeah.
And when we did the appraisal last time, which happened to be just around when the last round was in 2020, that was, I think, a determining factor, right? We had an appraisal done at that time for refi. We obviously wanted to maximize that, but even then, that was impactful on that.
How did that come out?
920.
That came out at 9:20.
And when was that?
That was 2020.
Yeah.
So
And
that's where we ended up last time, because we presented that to the town, and
obviously we were trying to get the highest number.
to refi, we wanted the highest number for the.
Right, you want a high
we
number
wanted
to
the
refi,
lowest,
yep.
wanted it to be
But
worth
that
a
was the
lot.
best we could at least have, and it was new, it was recent, so we had to share it, right?
Yeah.
But that was the basis back then.
Yeah,
For yours,
yeah,
For ours, yeah.
yeah,
920.
yeah. But yeah, looking at the comps that we have there, the value doesn't really even represent 920. So we recognize it's a difficult property to fully value. And
Yeah, it
it's
is.
very expensive to maintain a log home.
Yeah.
You have to get experts in. We had to get a log, like you literally have to get a log person in because
Somewhere in
we
New
had,
Jersey.
actually we had, yeah.
The inside log too?
Yeah, so the inside log, there's chinking, it's called, which is that stuff that seals the log cabin. And that you have to get, like, you have to have somebody come in and actually chink it. You can't just fill it with concrete or whatever because it cracks. So the expense of, we had them
We did
redo the
exterior.
outside of it, and there's some parts of it inside that have been redone, but we couldn't afford to.
At the time,
We
yeah.
couldn't afford
Is it
to.
really expensive to do?
It's really
Yeah.
expensive
It's
to
a lot
do.
of labor.
And
Yeah,
you have to
labor.
have them, like, they have to come up, and so we had to, it was the labor part of it, but then also, they don't live here, so they also,
Oh, they come and stay with you.
they stay for,
Get out of
they
here,
can
they
stay
come-
with you.
Oh, my God, where are they from?
Well,
This
these
guy came
guys
from New Jersey.
was from New Jersey.
There was a guy in upstate
There's
Vermont.
a guy, and there's a few people in Vermont that will do it.
They were going to move into the cabin, they said.
They were going to move in, that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
They were like, we'll just come live here. Like, I mean, it's not even a house, it's not even a toilet. Like, it was like, I don't think that's right. Anyway, I don't remember how much it cost to do, but it's very expensive to do. So that's why we only could afford to do. We did the outside, but it really needs to be, there's some breezy bits.
Oh.
Windows you don't sit next to.
Charming, but
Yeah.
breezy.
Okay, anything
So-
else you want to tell us?
I think that's it.
Okay, we're done with